Hi, and welcome to Watch It Played. My name is Rodney Smith, and in this video, we're going to see how you set up your table to play Frostgrave, a game designed by Joseph A. McCullough and published by Osprey Games, who helped sponsor this video. If you also want to see how to create your warband and the full rules to play, we have videos for those as well that you'll find linked in the description below. But for now, join me at the table, and let's see how you set up to play. The Frostgrave book comes with 10 unique scenarios, each with their own guidelines for setup, special rules of play, and objectives. And we'll come back to these later in the video, but right now I'm going to show you how to set up what is known as a standard game. This typically takes place on a playing area of about 3 feet by 3 feet, so you'll want to make sure you mark that off on your table, or use a playmat that size like I have here from the website gamemat.eu. Or you can go with a 2 foot by 2 foot area for a quicker close quarters game, or a 4 foot by 4 foot for something a little more grand. Games of Frostgrave are best if they take place on a table densely packed with terrain, and here I've set up my table using pieces that also come pre-assembled and pre-painted from gamemat.eu, who I'll link to in the description of this video. But if you're just getting started, you can just as easily cover your table with stacks of books, boxes, and other household items. Either way, just make sure both players are agreeable on the layout of the terrain, ensuring that there are very few, if any, open paths that are more than a foot long. Next, pick which 2 opposing sides of the table will be used by the players. In this video, we'll say this side and the one over here. That makes these known as the 2 neutral sides. Now find suitable tokens to represent treasures. Here I have the official options from North Star military figures, but you could use coins or beads or any other suitable replacement. The important thing is that each player has 3, and then they'll take turns placing them one at a time. But each treasure must be put at least 9 inches from either player's edge of the table, and more than 6 inches away from any other treasure token. Once that is done, have both players roll a 20-sided die, also known as a D20. The person with the highest value, after re-rolling any ties if necessary, will select the player side they would like to start on, and their opponent will take the opposite side. The player who had the higher roll then places all of their figures on the table within 6 inches of their table side in any formation they like. Their opponent then does the same on their side. And that's how you set up a basic game. But now let's take a look at some custom scenarios. Chapter 5 of the rulebook will provide you with 10 different scenarios you can play, each with special rules and objectives. And you can pick any one of them, or use this table to randomly pick one by rolling a d20 and then setting up the scenario associated with your rolled value. We won't go through all the different scenarios because those can be fun to discover on your own, but let's take a look at one of them as an example called Genie in the Bottle. Here, a die will be rolled each time a treasure is picked up until the first time a value of 15 to 20 is rolled. In that case, the treasure is actually a magic lamp, but the genie inside has no interest in granting wishes. Instead, you'll spawn a demon nearby who will then harass nearby figures, guided by the rules provided in the scenario. It can be attacked, but it's quite powerful, and only magic will affect it. Thankfully, its anger isn't endless. If it manages to kill 3 warband figures, it will then make its way to the edge of the table to escape, though it will fire magic arrows at nearby targets along the way. It's not all bad though, as the magic lamp is worth much more than regular treasures, so the player who manages to claim it will find themselves quite wealthy. In addition to the 10 scenarios in the core book, several other books have been released in the Frostgrave series to provide you with new scenarios to attempt and challenges to overcome. There's also a series based on the Frostgrave rules that takes players out of the cold regions and into an island setting with new rules for that environment, including new schools of magic and spells. But those I'll leave you to discover on your own. In our next video, we're going to go over the full rules to play Frostgrave, and I'll put a link to that in the description of this video. But if you have any questions about anything you saw here, feel free to put them in the comments below and I'll gladly answer them as soon as I get a chance. You'll also find forums for discussing Frostgrave and other pictures and video on its page over at Board Game Geek, which I'll also link to in the description below. But until the next episode, thanks for watching.